Guess what time it is? Well, actually, it's almost 2 o'clock here. But, yeah, we're going to read a little bit from the Holy Fable. So, first off, we're going to do that and go over, January the 11th of the fundamental, it's almost a fundamental church, but yeah, the fundamental church teachings of I don't know, really feels like more like indoctrination, but yeah, it's the 15th, so we're going to stick to that. Homeless shelter, that's what I was trying to think of. Terrible thing to do, take advantage of people that have no place to go. Anyway, so we're going to go over this, and I have two different places I'm going to crack open the Holy Fable. So we'll give you something to look at up here. And so this particular pastor, and I have as a note here on the side, was one of those enthusiastic pastors. He said that the main topic of this particular teaching was heart of resistance and heart of repentance. So he kind of started off talking about himself. He claimed he wanted to help a co-worker. I kind of put as a side note, let's hope it wasn't the same way that he preaches, because he was really over passionate about it. Spoke about being preached at every day until he gave in. I mean, I guess some people converted that way, but mentioned about how he was surrounded by Christians who behaved badly. I didn't take note on what he elaborated in. Claims a child died because of sin. I don't remember specifically. He brought up something with news, like they watched Fox News every morning, so like I don't know what he's referring to, but they blame everything for like they must have had sin and blah blah blah, like anti-vax kind of stuff. Like it's pretty scary. Claims a child, like 7 per row. They mean that. They mean that shit. I got sick when I was there. I'm glad I got vaccinated, so take it for what it is. Claims a child. Okay. So, claims King David saw God do miracles like destroying cities. So here's part 1 that I'm going to actually take a look at here. I'm doing the one thing I can't stand. I always wondered why pastors read the Bible out of order. They never read it through. I'm doing this in reverse. It's going to be middle and then front. Okay, so. Yeah, the miracles of King David saw God do miracles like destroying cities. So let's take a look at what miracle he's talking about. So I actually had to look this up. I don't know if it's going to let me get a still frame for you, so you can pause it and read it for yourself. This is the King James Version. It might not, but anyhow, I'll give it a shot anyway. There it goes. So then Sion came against us, he and his people, to fight. I don't know how to pronounce it. Jahaz. And our Lord, our God, delivered him before us, and we smote him and his sons and all his people. We took his cities at that time and utterly destroyed the men, the women, and the little ones. So they destroyed the children, and every city we left none to remain. Only the cattle we took as for prey unto ourselves, and the spoil with the cities that which we took. So I could read on, but like that's really the main point I was going to get at with this one. So yeah, their God led them to their death. Like, led these guys to their death. And then, so much for do not kill, right? Slaughter everybody. Where is the compassion there? So we're going to go a little bit further, and then we'll go to part 2. That's in the Bible. These videos take a while to load, so I'm trying to get through this. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess he was making another news reference. Claimed another. Oh, this time he claimed about using the news reference to come back around. He claimed another baby that died in the Bible because of sin. I don't know what he was referring to. I couldn't find a reference, so I apologize on that one. But I did put in quotes here, snake oil salesman. So whatever it was he said, I wasn't really buying it. Claims heart of resistance is to disobey God and God's counsel. So this is something I thought about. Like, I've heard this before on a lot of like the atheist channels I've watched and stuff. But yeah, I've heard pastors say God has it written on your heart. Like, I've heard Seth Andrews say that a couple of times, and like, this is I don't know. It's a BS way of like trying to get away with, I don't know. I've heard different versions of it. It's just another version of it. And so he ranted on for that for a while. Disobey goes against God's counsel. At this point, he was getting over enthusiastic about it. Still yelling a lot over emotional preaching. Repeats same thing over and over. Claims 1,000 died because of one sin. Wasn't God the one who destroyed the city? Okay, so it took me a minute to realize I didn't have this wrote down, what city he was talking about over one sin. And I actually, when I looked it up, this is what I came up with. Now, he actually said it, he was leaning on it being because of homosexuality. But I don't know if it's going to show up well due to all this light going on. Oh, it did. So I looked up what was the one sin that God destroyed a city for. And the answer I got here, which I should have known better. If I can get this to focus. Come on. Oh, there it goes. Shit. Had to do with Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah. And it had to do with the angels visiting. And, yeah, even here, I don't know what version they're speaking from, but bring them out so we can have sex with them. Talking about with the angels. The angels then proceeded to blind the men surrounding the house, and they're urging Lot to flee the cities and escape. Yeah, okay, so whatever version this is definitely a lot prettier. So I'm going to remind you again, what I'm about to read from is from the King James Version. And this is the one that they gave me. So, again, let me put my glasses up here. Let's take a look at it. And the men said unto Lot and his son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatever hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy the city, and because the cry within the waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake. Sorry, I'm trying to read this through the camera to make sure it's clear, but spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters-in-law, and said, Up, set you out of this place, and the Lord will destroy this city. But it seemed like his one that mocked his said that one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, to be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the man laid upon his hand Oh, I'm sorry. So I read the last part. So, okay. Forgive me on that. So I'll actually go ahead and continue since I already read this. Forgive me. So, this part I did make a mention later where they actually forced him. They didn't give him a choice. And I brought this up with Mike. Where they actually, where he had lingered and they forced him by hand and his wife and his two daughters out, which too later his wife turned the pillar of salt. My apologies. What I actually meant to read was that they were talking about them wanting to lay with the angels. And Lot went to the door to shut the door upon them, and they say, I pray thee, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, and I pray you, bring them unto you, and you do to them as ye wish in ye eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for they have came under the shadow of my roof. So that's what I meant to read. So okay, it's kind of ironic. That's all I wanted to make with this reference out of the book, is that is the pastor was actually trying to pin a point with this, saying that Sodom and Gomorrah was for homosexuality, and the men were trying to rape the angels. But I thought it was kind of ironic that just a little bit further down, that the most sinless or savable person in the entire city was offering his daughters out, to be raped instead of the men, because the men happened to be guests. So I feel like that doesn't make sense to me. Okay. So apologize for that. It's been a long evening. Let's see here. So then I guess he continued with the turn or burn kind of deal. Like, isn't turn or burn isn't turn to Jesus or burn in hell isn't love. It's fear mongering and anger, not love. So that's kind of all I had to think with as far as with that. It doesn't sound like being a hypocrite isn't really love either. That's what I got from that story. God's a hypocrite. Claims not being convinced is the same as resistance. Claims not being convinced. So, he would claim that if you're an atheist, in any sense of just not being convinced of their God, then you're simply just, you have it written on your heart and you're being resistant, which is BS. Like, if you're not convinced, you're not convinced. And then I have, where is the free will if people pray you to believe? God gives you free will only so humans can pray your free will away. So, okay, I guess what I was thinking that when I wrote this part, and I'll wrap this up, is, when, take it like, say you got a parent or, just a family member, and they're like, well, you told them that you don't believe anymore, and they're like, well, we'll pray for you. What does that mean? You'll pray for me. You'll pray for me to come back? Are you imposing your will upon me? Like, what's the point if God gives me free will for you to pray my will away? Like, I don't understand in any form. And if praying doesn't mean anything, if it's all His will anyway, then what was the point of praying in the first place? It's already predetermined. So either you're trying to take away the will that He gave me, if you're right and He does exist, or it doesn't make sense. So I'll leave it there, and we'll see if I can keep to this schedule.